right now it's, you know, good. When there was like 50 people down there on their phones, it was real tough.
You know, there's this thing, I remember I was talking to one of the supplements, like, oh, you can pay extra and you'll be front of the line when they're going to send out. And I was like, that seems like a scam. But now, like, whenever I'm in the crowd, I'm like,
Yeah, it's on. It's on. It smiles.
Will you just give me some words?
Testing, testing. Mic check, mic check. I'm here at the dam for the millionth time in a row. How's it sounding? Is it good? Can you hear it?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Sounds great. Okay, 1 second. Let's just...
Alright, so there's that. Mitch says we're live on YouTube now.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know. He said if you want to show us around. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I'm also not very tall. I think you said it. Yeah. How's it going? Hey, you too.
You don't want me to go live, or are we not doing that?
I don't know. It's 12:11.
Okay.
You got a minute to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
If
guess
it sounds like I know you guys want to go closer, it was just kind of like herding cats. I know where you guys are.
sounds like maybe that.
Stand up there is where they're going to be. If you want to move your cameras up now, that's fine.
Okay.
You can leave bags and stuff here or whatever you need to bring with, it's fine. Otherwise, we'll just kind of.
Sounds good.
Maybe. I don't think it is. You know what? It might be. It might have fallen out of here. I'll take it. Thank you.
How long do you think I should go?
I mean, it just kind of depends on when. It might be, yeah. Maybe we don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Because the fact that we already went on with the move and all, it's kind of up in the air enough
Yeah, I
that I
feel
don't
you.
like the idea of things going. I'll do a stand at the end.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a much better idea.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, there's so many. We'll get them all.
their Lewis. He's their Lewis.
Oh.
So if you ever like need a battery or something,
We've met before, Joe.
Oh, good to see you.
WCCO.
I'm battery efficient.
I still carry tons of anxiety.
I don't know people in the boardroom. I feel like what kind of interview is this?
How long ago was that?
Well, that was like at least 10, 15 years ago.
I don't think we have even 12 people left in the building to do that now.
Yeah, the newsroom was big back then. I haven't been there for a long time.
Listening to that all the way down.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I was listening to you.
Yeah. I just ducked out of there.
Yeah. You said you were going to be here.
I did. But I made good on my word. That's good.
We got the
Yeah, this is not my jam. I don't.
think we need this one.
No, we don't need that.
Hang now.
Record it.
As long as you
Okay.
got a good connection.
Yeah.
Want me to
Can't
do
you
a
just
mic
clip it
check
right there, or?
for you?
I was trying to get it to point
Is
at
there no
him.
way we could put the stick mic in here?
We can try. I had really good
Or
luck.
would it be better with this?
The lob's omnidirectional, so it's gonna pull from kind of a wider.
Uh-huh.
Check,
Okay.
check. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I did the last press
You'll be
conference with the
standing
lob, and
Okay,
it was
all right.
great. I'm just struggling to get it clip the way I want.
If I do a Tim Walz impression, no, I can't.
You set it sideways, like that works, right? Can you turn it within?
It was cold at the station.
I figured this mic plate might just
Yeah. I
make it
feel like
stand
you
more
had it.
steady.
You think?
Oh dear. I knew that was going to happen.
Here you go.
That.
Catch that, right?
Neighbors.
Oh, look, they fit nice, don't they?
Yeah,
I guess
neighbors.
I wish I was just pointed up a little bit. You know what?
Get the stick mic.
I've got some gaffer's tape. I'm just gonna.
Oh, you had it.
I did.
Here, I'll watch it. Just
Thanks.
come back.
Someone hooked up the lav mic up here.
Yeah.
Won't be a pain. Probably the best right there.
Yeah, it gets a wider. He's getting gaff tape to put it on here.
Can I have you hold that?
Check this out.
If we can stay back behind the mic stand, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Take that mic stand out of here.
Okay. I fit it on there pretty snugly.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't like how it's.
What, angled?
Yeah, facing.
Okay, well, you can change it if you want, but
So it's gonna go like
You know what?
that.
If you want to stick it on there, feel free to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, flip it to mine too. Which just said be a bully. Get upright.
What's that?
He told me to be a bully.
To be what? Oh,
Get upright.
well,
You
we
have to be. Yeah.
we are up front.
oh yeah. We snagged that. And now, where are you putting this? Where's
Just
the
on the ground.
on the? Okay. Put it right there. And now,
How's it going?
Oh my God. You want to get me? I took all the photos. I didn't. But you can see the blue earth now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look over here at this.
Yeah, they might not let you back over there, but.
At the edge of that dam.
No, I unplugged the stick or the shotgun light.
Check, check, check. This is probably, they'll be taller than this. They'll probably be saying more things. They'll be speaking English, or they might start singing in Spanish. We don't know. If they're Gypsy Kings fans. Caminando por la calle Tombelin. Check, check, check.
how tall is Governor? Should we raise this
Yeah,
up?
he's my height. But
Should we
we're
raise
a little
it?
taller. I just don't know how tall the other folks are going to be.
Well, Bob's not very tall. Here's me being my bully. Oh, am I not going to stick?
So what we're trying to do here, wait, that's not. So this is the Rapidan Dam. This we're doing briefing the media, blah 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 blah. Morris Albert, feelings, check.
Good check on my mic too. Thanks. All right, pretty good.
Good?
Yeah, I just need to click record. Hey, what's up?
Need one of those things.
Tracks? They get stuck a lot less. We're moving all tracks.
Check 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Okay. Okay, no problem. We'll just shut it down and then we'll refeed this afterwards. How would in the world they would regulate that?
Mitch is texting me. Where he is, but I'm waving.
We were over there, right? By that affiliate where that concrete blacktop was? Yeah, I went to the, because I remember I climbed on top of the jungle gym. Yeah, like it exploded. And that looked like it's gone now. Yeah.
Yes, that we don't
Were you
have
here
it
when they tore it down?
Oh, all right, sorry.
So, yeah.
Well, imagine
But like the pillars or whatever you call it. Lisa. I'm Ellie. It was nice to meet you. We're really everybody to sit behind the mic. No. Behind the mic stand, please.
Rob.
Thank you.
Rob.
Yes. Glad we got him on last week.
I know, it was good though. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Everybody's week was crazy.
Yes, I'm sure.
It's crazy to see how much erosion.
So when you worked here, did you work in the place that's gone now?
Well, all over. Yeah, like you see, where that place that was gone, there was a bunch of stairs, there was a substation, there was a telephone station, and then the dance floor was behind that.
Yeah.
And then, look right there, I see a girl on the sign.
Testing, John. 1, 2, 3. You got me back there, okay? Let me know if you hear me back there, okay? Oh, yep.
Years ago.
Yeah. They had the picture down in the basement, which looks like the Bat Cave down there, but they were on horses, man. I was like, it's wild. Probably did 12-year-old, man.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I know we'll be talking more about this.
I raised up the mic stand a little bit. Just because I was trying to raise it up a little bit to see if it would.
Yeah, we had a guy on the flyer office. Chris. Oh, yeah.
Mike's flagging up, so I went to go get mine.
I know what to do. But Mike sinks too low in this.
What's up with this? Is this like maybe tight? It's like shit. Where's he gonna stand? Like here? You putting yours right there?
It's gonna go here.
Gonna weigh it down.
Down. Look at that. Teeter totter skills.
Well, that's
We're always in trouble. Get some audio. Yeah, we have mic up here. I have been actually. Hold on, I can do it. 97. County Commissioner, we're both good. You know what's bad when they go out and war was going on. That's bad when I growing up, and I went off to war, and then I came back, and we were still here. And we still we said, that's good. This is a good place to be. Well, good. good one. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for your work. Yeah, I'm gonna record and walk away. This is his district. No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need
Oh,
okay, nice.
I'm good. How about you? Nope. Nope. Oh, you? Oh, yep. Nope. 25th. Well, technically 2017. It was a semester early, so.
Where you been working at?
The Herald. Also do the Herald, and then it was the PD before that.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah, I actually like it a lot better.
You got awesome.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to. But hopefully next year I'll be able to. I said that every year, but I will be able to. At least eventually. Sorry.
It's all good.
Well, Jackson sometimes freelance schools. No, I mean, I kind of did it, like,
Playlist is on fire.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that threw me off. I was
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got sent down here at the last second, and I was just like, well, I've got a Malbox board in case, but you can't really rely on it. Honestly, it's actually stayed. Because of that case, it's stayed a lot of times. You never know what it is.
Because then you could just pop it here.
Yeah,
and have the
honestly,
mic
that'd be great.
facing-
I guess let's just wrap it from right there.
If we can get it without disrupting anything.
Here we go.
Good.
Perfect. I think that should do it. And it's
Winner?
still rolling, so
All right.
Just so you guys know, I am hooked up live and my
Okay.
mic's set up, so that's a
okay.
hot mic on the internet right now.
Sorry.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
Appreciate your help.
It's a race thing.
I'm just glad they're getting started late because I saw I was going to get here like 8 minutes past. Minneapolis and A3O to ECCO. Yeah. And I left at like 11. No. And when I was driving
Check, check, check.
Okay.
They're fun. I mean, American.
This way, then we'll get close again. If you'd like to step over the guardrail, run inside the fence area.
We'll ask the media to stay behind the mic stand, please. Thank you. They will come back up here to address questions and address the media. Thank you.
My name is Kevin Papp, Kevin Paap, County Commissioner. You know, as a kid who rode the school bus across that dam and up the gravel road, hopefully up depending on what the winter weather was like, or as a county commissioner representing this area, it's hard to believe we'd be here with this in our background. You know, as a child, as parents with kids, as grandparents with grandchildren, this area, the dam store, the burgers and malts, the pies, and the walk out to the dam provided many special memories, not only for our family, but many others. Not only from this community and this county, but from all over the state and well beyond. Seeing this today puts a hole in many of our hearts. Our thoughts and prayers are to the Hruska family and friends through this difficult and overwhelming time. Before introducing Governor Walz, I really need to remember my manners and say thank you. On behalf of the Blue Earth County Commissioners here today, thank you to the Hruska family for the special memories. Thank you to Blue Earth County staff, those on site and those going beyond to cover in other parts of the county. I do have to single out 4 groups: our administration leadership, Public Works, Emergency Management, and the Sheriff's Office. Thank you for your hours and hours of work. We want to thank the federal, state, other county and local agencies for their assistance. And I want to shout out or call out specifically the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, Minnesota Department of Transportation Bridge Safety Staff, and Minnesota DNR Dam Safety Staff. I want to thank our state, national, and other county officials, Xcel Energy. Thank you to the contractors who dropped everything, the projects they were on, to get here on time. And I want to thank the media. You know, the media, you were key to getting out timely, accurate information. I also would like to thank the citizens who respected the safety boundaries. You know, everyone is working extremely hard to focus on safety while managing a very difficult situation. About 6:55 Monday morning is when I got the first text, and most of them were all about the same. What can I do to help? And appreciate all the reach out from the elected officials. Shortly, we got a chance to communicate with the governor directly and appreciate that. I want to thank him for his time checking it out by air, but especially checking it out today with boots on the ground. So it is my honor as Chair of Blue Earth County Commissioners to introduce Governor Walz. Governor?
Well, yeah, thank you to Commissioner Papp and Kevin, and to the rest of the commissioners who are here, the state representatives and senators. Look, I think all of you know this. These are folks that were my neighbors, literally. Our kids went to school together. I've known them. I've leaned on these folks with great experience on what needs to be done. And to the Hruska family, I think they're hearing it. They're dealing with it in themselves. Where's your home, your business, and all that? The community feels the loss because this family built something here with Jim that you know, communities are lucky if they have a place like this. It was a gathering place that Blake folk talked about. I, like Kevin, I didn't ride the school bus across this, but I rode my bike too damn fast down this trail on this highway many times. It's a big part of the community, and I told the family one of the things is amongst all they were dealing with is their sense of optimism and gratitude and grace they showed in interviews at a time of great turmoil lifted up a lot of people. I was getting calls from around the world asking about this dam of folks who knew I lived in this neighborhood, and they talked about that sense of community. I will echo Kevin's thanks to everybody involved in this, the emergency managers, the sheriffs, and the deputies that are here. I know for a fact, because I've been in there, many of them ate here many times. We all been down here. They're part of the community. I think many times when we see our first responders, we see such great service out of them because it's our neighbors, and they're there to do that. So first and foremost, in an emergency like this, it's protecting life of people around and pitching in as neighbors. And then the system kicks in. And you're going to hear from the emergency managers, you're going to hear from the engineers, you're going to hear from MnDOT people. All of those things are in part of a standard operating procedure that works its way up. And I can't give enough thanks to the folks protecting folks, making good decisions, stabilizing the situation, and then simultaneously start thinking about what does recovery look like? I'm pleased that Blue Earth County was named in one of the first counties that received the federal and presidential disaster declaration. I think most folks by now know what that means, 75% reimbursement from the federal government. Our tax dollars that we paid, and when Hurricane Katrina hits, we were glad to help them. When other things happen, that happens. So that money will come back to Minnesota. I want to thank the legislators on several fronts. Minnesota is one state that already built it into our system that the 25% match can come from the state, meaning that with the federal declaration, we get 100% reimbursement. And then the legislators standing behind us did something, again, that other governors, when they talk to me, are trying to talk their legislators into doing. We have a disaster assistance contingency account. It's got about $26.4 million in it now. Because of the last legislative session, it will replenish in August, $50 million more in that. That fund can be used without a federal declaration, and it can be used if a county or if a township or if a community didn't reach the thresholds to warrant that reimbursement. We can reimburse 75% of that out of that account. So the one thing I think Minnesotans should be reassured about, we will rebuild. The cost will be shared by all of us, so the burden will not fall on these county commissioners. But I think what we need to think about, the lost business that's here, and I think one of the concerns that was that we've seen, and I think Ryan will talk to you a little bit about, is very important bridge that we see here, about 40 years old, but I think the concern is that it is going to be structurally damaged by this and will need to be replaced. And then I think you start wrapping your mind around what that's going to look like. I asked those folks who live out here, it's 15 minutes every day. That's a lot to ask for folks if it's 15 minutes every trip around this thing. So those are things we'll know in the coming days. There'll be more assessments going. The counties that have not yet been included in the disaster declaration does not mean they're not going to be. It means that the damage assessments are still coming in and being resubmitted. So this will be on a rolling basis where counties will be added. Once they're added, we will move forward. And again, just deep gratitude to all the folks who responded to this. A thankfulness that we haven't had any fatalities. I will mention we had one in western Wisconsin this morning of someone in the rushing river. We lost, it looks like. I'm going to reiterate to everyone, be very careful. Water is still dangerous. And again, not driving around any of these barricades. With that, I'll give it to the person who's responsible for making sure those types of things happen. DPS Commissioner Jacobson can join us.
Thank you, Governor. Hello, I'm Bob Jacobson. I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety for the state of Minnesota. It's an honor to serve in that capacity. First of all, I want to thank Governor Walz, our FEMA partners, and all the state agencies that have remained working diligently by our side through this disaster. As a reminder, we're still working under the governor's peacetime emergency. What that means is that state agencies are still able to get out there to assist our local governments, whether it be local or county governments, with any assistance that they may need, whether it be equipment or materials. National Guard is still available under that peacetime emergency to respond if needed. If there are resources or personnel that are needed in any flood areas, they are still ready and able to respond. We've had as many as 50 National Guardsmen out at any one time to be able to help. Our State Emergency Operations Center is still active, so again, we're taking any incoming requests for resources and needs. This disaster is not over. We are still here, we're still working, we're still serving the state of Minnesota and those that are out there who need our assistance. As the governor mentioned, many of you may have heard, 22 counties were approved for a presidential declaration. I'll reemphasize what the governor mentioned. That does not mean that if you're a county that was impacted, that does not mean that you are not going to get a presidential declaration. As many of you are aware, flooding is still going down in many areas. To get a full damage assessment of those areas, we need those flood waters to be able to go down to be able to do that. Right now, we're aware of a total of 47 counties in the state of Minnesota, 47, that have been impacted by floods. So we'll continue working on that. We are also continuing to work with FEMA. Our partners have been in town. The regional administrator from Region 5 was in town for several days last week. We're continuing to work with them on the potential for an individual assistance so that as we tally up damage assessments that may be coming in from around the state of Minnesota, remember that homeowners and business owners may be eligible for individual assistance as this recovery process goes along. We're not at that point yet, but for homeowners and business owners that are out here and that are listening, please take pictures, take photographs, all that you can of any damage that you may have suffered at your home or your business. If you have repaired anything, make sure and keep those receipts. Those are going to be very important for you to be able to share with your local emergency management officials and FEMA when the time comes to be able to qualify for individual assistance through the FEMA process. So we are working diligently with that. Also, just a last message, again, the governor mentioned this too, but to reemphasize, remember safety. We are still in the midst of floods. We don't want anyone to be hurt or injured. We are very fortunate for a flood and a disaster this size that we have not lost a life. We don't want to start that now. So please, please be safe as you're around floodwaters. Be careful. Spend time with your families, talking to them about safety messages so that we don't see anyone get hurt. We still have, it's been proven now, as we all know, that Minnesota weather can be unpredictable and can be very dangerous. So again, reminders to take care, pay attention to safety. And then I also want to remind everybody that we can rebuild. We can't recover perhaps from lost lives, but we will have the ability to recover from this. Minnesotans are resilient. This community is resilient. The folks that I've met here with are resilient. I am terribly impressed with this community and how they've come together and will continue to do so. We from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety will be there alongside of you through this entire process. We're not here today and gone tomorrow. We will be here. We will be a part of this recovery process. We'll be a resource for all of you. And then finally, I want to especially thank our local emergency managers who have been very key in this recovery process, making sure that they are coordinating resources. I also want to make sure that our government and elected officials who are here have been tremendous to work with. They are there on behalf of their communities, doing the best that they can to help serve and bring us back. The volunteers, the generosity and time given by volunteers who may not even necessarily know our flood victims, watching that through this whole process has been inspiring. And so thank you to all those who have spent that time to volunteer to do that work on behalf of their fellow community members. We can't be more thankful. And then lastly, to the emergency responders who have been here throughout this, who responded, who will be part of the recovery. They're part of the fabric of your community. My thanks to all those who've been able to respond and will be a part of your community. They'll be a part of helping you through this. And again, and my thanks to all of you, and appreciate having the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Tilgis. I'm the Blue Earth County Highway Engineer and Public Works Director. I'm here to talk about the condition of the bridge. First and foremost, though, I would like to thank the governor, as well as our state representatives and our members of our federal delegation as well for their attendance today. And as Commissioner Papp stated earlier during his speech, we've been very fortunate to have had a tremendous level of assistance at both the state, federal, and local level. So it's been phenomenal to have seen that and have had the support. The County Public Works Department has been in kind of constant contact with members from the Army Corps of Engineers, with members from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, as well as the Minnesota Department of Transportation. Currently, the county is very concerned about the condition of the bridge. The bridge piers are constructed on top of sandstone bedrock, and effectively that the bridge pier piling aren't driven down into the bedrock, they're just driven down so that the ends are sitting on top of the bedrock, and all of the lateral stability for the piling was achieved through the sediment that was in place that had been impounded in the river basin over the life of the dam. So as we're seeing dramatic levels of river head cutting, as the river's lowering itself down and washing away tremendous amounts of sediment, we're losing stability. So the county did activate an emergency operation Friday to attempt to stabilize the very western pier, number 1. We were able to get some large rock riprap through a construction access road that was constructed by a local contractor who was already working for the county about 10 miles away. They were able to protect and stabilize pier number 1. However, during conversations with MnDOT and with the Corps of Engineers, it was not recommended that we, due to safety concerns and due to other adverse impacts that could happen, that we attempt to build a causeway across the river and stabilize pier number 2. With that being said, we've had several calls with the Corps and with MnDOT trying to evaluate other options to try to protect pier number 2. Right now, we believe that
effectively half of the length of the piling are wide open, loading from the water, and they're unprotected. And effectively, if it goes too much farther, we're going to be concerned that it's going to be too much instability or not enough lateral support for those piling. So we're closely monitoring it. We did attempt to do some underwater surveying using a LiDAR unit last night. However, we were unsuccessful due to the turbidity, that meaning the water has too much air moving through the water. The water's turning over too much and there's too much sediment in the water for them to be able to get an accurate reading. So we weren't able to get data. The water is flowing too fast for us to do our conventional measures, which would be a weighted rope, and trying to attempt to take scour measurements at the river or at the pier. Right now, again, we believe it's approximately 50% exposed, and as the river level continues to decrease and cut the riverbed elevation down, we're very concerned about the potential for partial or full failure of the bridge. With that being said, the bridge has been closed since the dam began to overtop Monday morning, and we'll continue to keep it closed for public safety. Thank you.
Time for 2 on-topic questions with Governor.
Again, sure. If you got any of them, we've got elected officials back here. We got other county commissioners. We have the experts here, but anything you need.
What can you say more about whether the bridge or the dam, the extent to which this situation could have been sort of prevented with mitigation measures earlier? How much of this is just the weather?
I'll maybe let Ryan. We were just discussing that about the ability to move some of this.
So the bridge was being monitored routinely. In fact, Sunday afternoon, I was personally out here looking at the bridge. There was the large mast that you see on the right side of the dam, the probably 15 to 20 foot thick conglomerate of trees that's almost 50 feet wide, was hung up on the upstream bridge pier. We don't have equipment or capability of getting that large of a mass of trees off of the river, especially when the river's passing. At the time, it was almost 24,000 cubic feet per second. When we came back out Sunday night about 9 p.m., 9 to 9:30 p.m., the river was passing 26,000 cubic feet per second. We actually, Sunday afternoon, reached out to an area contractor who's historically done removals, and we can't pick the trees up and flip them and throw them over the top of the dam. They're too waterlogged, they're too heavy, and it's not safe. We have to actually turn them, push them down, and push them through the gates. It's very dangerous work, and it requires special equipment with a special excavator that sits out on the bridge deck with a special bucket on the excavator. The contractor who's done this work, who's one of the few who would ever even be willing to do the work, that piece of equipment was 5 hours away, and that contractor stated that due to the flow rates, he would not feel safe being out on the bridge deck with those flow rates. It was unsafe for him and for the lives of their operators. So with that being said, we evaluated that later on. Tuesday, we were in contact with 6 different contractors after the water stopped overtopping the dam. Nobody was willing to send out their operator and their piece of equipment and risk their operator's life to try to push those trees through. And at that point, there was a massive spike of trees that came down the river between 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night and 1:30 a.m. Monday morning when we were notified of the dam overtopping. It's a product of drought that's happened over the last 3 to 4 years with a tremendous river basin upstream of the dam. We have a lot of fallen and dead trees for miles and miles up the river. And when we had this massive flush, this incredible spike of runoff, it carried them down the river very rapidly.
Ryan, was there debris then in there prior to that spike of trees that could have been removed?
There were a few trees that appeared, and we've seen this over the years with the dam, where you do occasionally get a tree or two hung up in the gates, and with the flows and more debris, they will work their way through, generally speaking. But even just knowing that there were a few trees in 2 of the gates, that's when our staff did call that contractor to see if we could get them out here to get it as clear as possible.
And that was prior to that?
That was Sunday afternoon. And that large conglomerate broke loose sometime Sunday night.
So that was not possible to get down here?
No.
Do you see that dam being rebuilt, or?
That's not a decision that I'm at liberty to speak on.
What damage is there? I mean, it's been termed a partial failure of the dam, but the dam structure itself is all intact.
Yes.
Isn't it?
So the terminology within the Rapidan Dam Emergency Action Plan is potential failure and imminent failure. So those are the terms in the EAP states that we need to be conservative and cautious, so we went to the highest level of threat. It's really what it ended up being is a failure of the west embankment adjacent to the dam, or the west abutment of the dam. The dam structure itself is still intact. In fact, the dam safety engineers from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission who are here today were out on the deck of the dam today earlier evaluating the safety of the dam. They didn't see any significant structural cracks, to my understanding, or large scour holes that would give us concern about the stability of the dam for the interim state.
So no part of the dam went away. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. In previous conversations with Blue Earth County, I know initially they had, when they were previously considering dam removal, I know that initially they were very concerned about removing the dam because of this decades of sediment buildup behind the dam, and that initially when they were going to remove it, they would need to unleash the sediment very slowly. But because of the, obviously of what we're seeing here right now with the rushing water, a lot of that sediment has been unleashed into the river. What conversations have been had with the Minnesota DNR, and is there any immediate concerns to the ecological impact downstream on the Blue Earth River? And I guess, are there any immediate concerns right now, or like down the road, are there any plans to study what impact it could have on the wildlife or in the communities for living along the riverbank?
That's a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yes, it was planned if we were to remove the dam under the study that was done by Bar Engineering in 2021 that it would be a staged release of the sediment that was impounded upstream of the dam. And a lot of the sediment, the hope was that we could actually place it on the riverbanks adjacent to the river as we reestablished about 3.5 miles of river channel. Obviously, we've lost that in an uncontrolled manner. The dam was classified as high threat because of the potential ecological impacts due to the sudden release of sediment. It was a low threat with respect to the potential for loss of life. So as far as to the extent of the ecological impacts, I don't have an answer on that. I don't know who will be studying it. Really right now, we're very concerned again about the bridge safety and trying to find interim mitigation measures. So we've been in constant conversation with the Army Corps of Engineers, the FERC, MnDOT, and others, trying to see what can we do to mitigate further erosion. And I'll be perfectly honest, all the solutions we came up with had almost as bad or worse adverse impacts that could affect the dam stability farther or could result in damages to the bridge or additional erosion. So we've had very limited success on finding a solution due to the rapid flow rates and the volume of water going through.
Clarifying is the dam.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you explain a little more, and this might be more a question for the governor, but a little more about what relief aid will look like under this disaster declaration, specifically for the counties affected?
Yeah, and I don't know if the commissioner, some of them, and again, with the federal declaration, as I said, is the 75% that comes into us. The state has it in, that is the 25%. The DACA account is separate from that. We use that when we don't reach these levels or it's more localized. That will start to come in. I think one of the concerns that got asked about the folks here is the reimbursement of this and making sure. I just want to reassure the county officials who are here, the city officials, that in a case like this, especially with a presidential declaration, the ability to make you as whole as possible is much greater. We will get there. We will rebuild it. And I think some of you are starting to think about it. I don't want to. I can't speculate on it, but it sure seems to me that this bridge may be one that needs to be replaced. You start to do the math on that, and that is a big investment. That can't fall just on Blue Earth County taxpayers. That's one we'll work together. So that's the way that works.
One more with the governor.
Yep. Question for the governor.
Sure.
Also on what recovery looks like. As floodwaters recede, but some people still are very affected by the effects of the flooding. What would you say to those people for whom this complicated insurance process was unlikely to make them completely financially whole? Yeah, well, I've said this many times. The flooding is the hardest one. First and foremost, you protect lives. But if you're going to have different types of natural disasters, whether it be a tornado or a fire, you've still lost buildings. And if you don't get anybody killed, the difference is in those instances, especially with tornado, people have homeowners insurance. The really hard one is floods take longer. It's harder to clean up. You've already lost all your personal things, so there's the emotional impact of it, and it takes a long time. So I think the biggest thing on this is reminding people we need to keep talking. There is a reason that in floods we also make available folks from the Department of Health. We have mental health counselors, things like that. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's tragic and it's frustrating. It's going to take a while, but there are resources to help in that. And then I just think that
this is incumbent upon us, those of us in elected office, I even say this at the federal level, a sense of urgency to get things done when they need to get done. If people need permits, get the permits. We saw this up in Cook and Biwabik last week. They had an issue where they needed to replace a gas line, was hanging in the open. It didn't break, it was hanging, and they were having to get a permit to move that gas line. The normal time of that is 6 weeks. Well, we're not going to take 6 weeks. They needed it that afternoon. So I think telling our agencies, we're not going to cut any safety corners or anything, but when folks need an answer, give them an answer. When folks need something done, do that. If we need to put more people on the spot like we did there to get a permit issued in a matter of hours rather than weeks, do that. So I just think I'm not going to tell people to be patient because they've gone through everything. I'm going to tell them to be a little bit impatient, but to understand, ask for some help. Call out, let people be there. And then this is a case of, I know that it's happened here, neighbors helping neighbors. It's one of the things in a tragedy like this, there's an outpouring in the beginning of people paying attention, and then if you weren't impacted, you go back to your daily life. The folks impacted, the Hruska family's not going back to their daily life right now. And I think it's important for all of us, and I know the folks that are here understand that, but just to keep this going, keep the interest, keep the help and aid coming. So.
We'll take a moment for the governor to head out, but I think
So,
folks will be here for other questions.
Thank you.
For the governor, please, off topic.
Let me wait for these guys.
Yeah. We'll get them. You guys can have over this way.
Unless Rich wants to be in shots on off-topic questions.
Yeah, this one off topic.
He said, sure.
Governor, what can you share about with us about the phone call among governors regarding the president's performance, and then will you be in KEYC?
Yeah, well, the call wasn't specifically about that. I'm the chair of the Democratic Governors Association, so in reference to the call yesterday, governors get together on this. The Democratic Governors Association is 23 governors representing about 180 million Americans. We get together. 9 of us were together last weekend in Minneapolis in person. Not that all unusual. We got on a call. We talked about some of the things that we're doing, talking about the political races and things, and talking just candidly about some of the natural disasters each of us are facing in our states, whether it be wildfires or flooding. And then talk turned a little bit to what was obviously a poor performance in last Thursday's debate, and governors asking questions about what is the plan, how are you going to do this, how are we going to message this, and very clearly, because especially with yesterday's Supreme Court decision, the threat seems very real that we will have a shift in how our country does business more towards a supreme executive and one that has unlimited power versus ones where we have federalism and state governors have a lot of say in how things are done. And what I would say is that the conversation was about the results do matter, and I would stress it in this situation, being able to have the federal government's folks out here continuing to work is really important. So that was the conversation.
Are you helping to organize a meeting tomorrow at the White House as well? Or
that was talked about in this, and we will see. I have not yet heard back. We're down here doing the work on this. I expect to hear some calls today that I think that's a possibility.
What will be addressed in that meeting tomorrow?
I think some of just the same concerns that we talked about. Look, I don't think anybody sugarcoats this. I've been through this. Well, many of you have covered it. You know I'm a poor debater, and you've seen it happen. But I think the question is how does that impact how the country runs? How does it impact what an election looks like? And again, it's about the differences and the binary choice that we're going to face in November, how important that is. So I think folks just want to know and just want to ask some questions.
Congressman Lloyd Doggett today called for the president to step down.
Yeah.
Any comments on that?
I haven't talked to him. I don't know what he said. I mean, that's an individual choice that each have to make. He assumed that was the case, and we'll see. We'll let each one of those make their own decision. But we'll get you more information on this. Our focus is here to get this thing taken care of. And again, final thoughts to the people here. Thank you for your resiliency. Thank you to the family. Again, as I said, we shouldn't really ask this of them, but the Hruska family actually lifted up everybody else at a time when they were hit the hardest. That's a real gift, and I'm appreciative of that their optimism helps us rebuild. So thank you all.
Who's got the lav? Oh, that's taped down there.
Thank you so much again.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah.